Hey, in this problem, we are finding the distance between cities. There's 3 cities, V, R, P, and, 4 cities, sorry, 4 cities, S, and they're situated as shown in the diagram. So we're going to assume that the triangle RSP, that's RSP, is isosceles, which means this angle equals this angle. Those are congruent. And use a law of sines to find the distance. So if I look at the big rectangle, RVP, then I have side angle. So I have a side angle. So I'll be able to find this angle, P. Okay. So I'm going to use a law of sines, and the first angle side pair I have is this V, corner V, and let's call it side little v. So we have sine of 40 degrees is 255 as, let's see, we don't have another pair, but we can, the other thing we have is the 80. It's the only side we have. So to find P, we can use that 80. So we get sine of whatever angle P is to 80. Okay, so that sine is always going to give us an acute angle, so that will give us that angle right there. And then we get that cross multiply, we get 55 times sine of P equals 80 times sine of 40. Divide both sides by 55 to get sine of P equals 80 times sine of 40 divided by 55. And then take the sine inverse of both sides. And I find that P, so the sine inverse and sine will cancel. And when I put that into a calculator, I get sine inverse of 80 times sine of 40, close the sine, divided by 55, close the arc sine, and I get that angle P is 69.2 degrees, rounding to the nearest tenths. Now this is an isosceles triangle, so I also know that S, I should be more specific, RSP, this guy, is going to be that 69.2. That means this other S, put it over here in green, this one, angle RSV is the supplement to 69.2. So that's 180 degrees minus 69.2, which gives me 110 degrees for that obtuse angle. So the law of sines will give us both these triangles so that we can get this line in green for the distance between V and S, between Van Gogh and Seurat, and the 69.2 will give us this distance in blue from Van Gogh to Pesaro. Okay, so let's find that blue distance first. So that's that big triangle. Let's see, so we still don't know R, so we still can't find that. Actually, we do know R, I'm sorry. So R, if we look at the blue triangle, then that point R is going to be angle VRP, which is going to be the whole triangle minus 40, that angle V, and minus angle P, which gives me 70.8 degrees. So this big one here is 70.8. Then I can do the law of sines, and I have sine of 70.8 is to that big distance between Van Gogh and Pissarro equal to sine of 40 over 55. And then solving for that, we get VP equals 55 times sine of 70, cross multiplying, and then divide by sine of 40 to get VP by itself. Which gives us, when we put that into a calculator, 55 times sine of 70.8, close the sine, divided by sine of 40, close that sine, and I get 80.8, approximately 80.8 kilometers. Okay, so we got one of our answers. We got, so assume this triangle is isosceles, do the law of sines to find the distance between Van Gogh and Seurat, and between Van Gogh and Pissarro. We found Van Gogh and Pissarro in blue. So there's your answer here. Okay, now the other one, the Van Gogh and Seurat, that's that green line. So now we're looking at this green triangle, which has a lot of the same information, except the obtuse version of it. So now we have angle S is now 110.8 across from that 80 kilometers. And we still have that same sine of 40 across from the 55. So that gives us, oh, that's a lot of information that, I think I messed up here. What'd I do? Oh, sine of 110. Whoops, I didn't write down any information we don't have, no unknowns. So I have a little too much information there. So let's try that again. Let's see. Okay, so I think I have to use that angle S, that little guy right there, and that 40 to get R up here. So we can get angle VRS is equal to that whole green triangle, which is 180 degrees, minus angle V and minus RSV, which is 110.8. And that gives us that little angle R, VRS, is 29.2 degrees. Okay, so now we got something to work with. We need to get that side that's across from that 29 degree angle. That's right here. So I have sine of 29.2 divided by whatever VS is, which is what we're looking for, and that equal to that ratio of any of these other sides and angles. So I get VS equals, cross multiply, I get 55 times the sine of 29.2 all over the sine of 40. And I'll put that in the calculator to get approximation. So 55 times the sine of 29.2 and close that sign, all divided by sine of 40, close that sign, and I get that VS is about 41.7 kilometers. So there's my other answer. So the distance between Van Gogh and Seurat in green here.